Are you guys ready for our next guest? You have to be. She is the organizer of Final Friday in Tempe, an event called Untidy Secrets. It's a storytelling and zine swap. It's Sarah R., everybody. Give it up for Sarah R. Hello. Good, thank you. I know you had to hawk your tickets to the 90s show to make it tonight, so I really appreciate it.
I was really stoked to see Vanilla Ice.
You were a big Salt and Pepper fan. You had to be.
Of course.
Me too, but more on a salad than nothing, huh?
That's
It's a food. So you organize a storytelling event called Untidy Secrets. Now, I'd love to know where the name of that event came from and why you host it in general. What drives you to do such an event?
So the name is from kind of a bunch of different places from the Lucksmiths, the band The Lucksmiths.
Okay.
So it's not creative or anything. It just kind of happened.
It's an homage to a band
Yes.
you like.
Yes.
Is that a lyric in the song, a name of a song, name of an album?
It's putting two different songs together.
Okay. A remix, if you will.
Yes, a remix
Again,
of
evidence of your love of 90s hip hop.
Yes, well, it is a 90s band, so it kind of goes, and you know.
Cool, okay. And why did you find that phrase particularly appropriate? Are you hoping that folks expose secrets during your
I think that they do.
storytelling? They do.
And I think sometimes they're untidy. They
I
don't
guess
just
the
all
best secrets
yeah.
would be untidy.
about a messy room and
What's the most, without giving away everything, the most compelling secret you've heard in the course of your hosting this event, which has happened six times or?
9.
Nine times?
We're moving on our 9th one.
Okay, very
Yeah,
cool. And is
yeah.
there something that particularly grabbed you as like, wow, I don't think I ever would have heard that had it not been for this event I'm hosting?
There's been a few things that have happened. There was one particular neighborhood gentleman that kind of gave a long story about the time that he did meth, which was an interesting story. And some of them are very therapeutic, so this was one of those kinds.
Of course. I think I was there for that. He went off book a little bit.
He went way off book. And there were maybe some things that made people very uncomfortable, which is kind of some of the point of it. So that's probably the most untidy secret that we've had.
And this takes place in a comic book store, Ash
Yes.
Avenue Comics in
Yes.
Tempe, adjacent to Arizona State University campus.
Mm-hmm.
What's the benefit of having it in a comic book store?
Well, it's surrounded by books. It's kind of a alternative venue that, and I like to have events that are in different, weird, interesting spaces. Also, it helps that my boyfriend owns a shop. So that was very convenient.
That's a benefit. Although we would keep that a secret, but now that it's exposed, you have an interest in hosting it there. But it is a cool venue because there's a visual stimuli around. You're hearing narrative and anecdotes from people that don't necessarily go with the comics, but there is this idea of the narrative, the story.
Yeah, and we're plugging the zine aspect of it too, and there are zines that are for sale there as well.
Let's talk about zines for a second because I
Okay.
think they're often ignored when folks talk about comics and literature. How would you describe a zine to someone that's never heard the term before?
So it comes from the word magazine, and it's just something.
What happens
that,
when you take the MAGA out? I think that's just what my grandma would like to know. Why don't you just call it a magazine then?
Well, when you take the MAGA out, it becomes it's something that somebody self-published. So oftentimes they're like little stapled together, copy-papered, black and white, maybe with a colored cover kind of thing. And some of them are more intricate than that, but the basic zine is just like a black and white.
I'll say right now that I think one of the best zine makers ever is our own Martin Scott over there at the soundboard.
You're far too kind.
Is there anything you'd like to add to the description and discussion about zine making?
Only that a lot of people will ask you what a zine is, and there's just people like, well, the concept just. I've had like at Amazing Arizona Con, like there's a guy, I explained it in full detail. He's just like, I still don't understand what you're doing.
So you take paper and you fold it, and then you staple it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you call it a zine. Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, this is pretty much it.
Does it have
Wow.
writing on it?
Yeah, sometimes.
And that's the beautiful thing about a zine is it could be graphic, it could have text, it could be a combination of graphics and text, it could be political, it could be frivolous, it could be anecdotal, autobiographical. The fanzines were very popular at one time.
Yes.
People would review bands and shows and that and so forth.
Sounds like the paper version of a podcast.
Yeah, it's like
basically,
almost
yeah.
a papery blog, if you will. Like,
It was very popular before blogs. Blogs kind of killed the zine, and then the zine is kind of coming back into the public eye.
I think it's like the mixed tape of publishing in a way.
Some of them include mixtapes.
And some of them include mixtapes,
Yeah,
so they're
so there you go.
multimedia.
Mhm.
Very cool. So you mentioned the neighborhood when
Yes.
when you talked about the event. So Ash Ave, like I said, is adjacent to ASU, but there's a term for that part of the
Yeah.
valley, for that community. Talk to us about that.
It's the Maple Ash Farmer Wilson neighborhood, and this actually came out of, Untidy Secrets came out of like a little sub part of the Maple Ash Farmer Wilson neighborhood group, which is the Artists of Maple Ash Farmer Wilson, which is kind of almost like, I would say, an anti-capitalist artist group that's in some ways fighting gentrification in Tempe. And
There's a lot of big words there that we're going to have to
Yes.
unpack here in a second. But,
so we're
so you're Nazis, is what you're saying.
basically,
And okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
No.
No, absolutely not. But so we decided to start a Final Friday, and I'm not much of a visual artist. I can't draw hardly anything. So I decided that my piece to that would be trying to figure out something that was more geared towards writers. So the storytelling evening came out of that.
Final Friday being a cousin, if you will, to First Fridays,
Yes.
popular in downtown Phoenix as an
Yes.
art walk. A lot of cities have art walks and crawls. So Final Friday, the last Friday of every month, stuff's happening in Tempe.
Yep.
And your contribution to that is this Storytellers Night, which is very cool. But you mentioned gentrification and anti-capitalist. What would that mean to, say, my mom that says, who was that Bernie Sanders supporter you were talking to? You know what I mean? There's a lot of heavy words there. So
What we're seeing in Tempe is that there's a lot of, and we're seeing it here in Phoenix too, a lot, especially in Roosevelt. There's a lot of these glass luxury high-rises that are being built, and one of the ways that, one of the selling points that a lot of these high-rises are using is public art and artists and things like that, and as a way to kind of fight back, this particular artist group is kind of going against.
So reading between the lines a little bit, there is an irony to the city wanting to gentrify and put these buildings in because of the strong artist community, because in so doing, by putting those buildings in, you will lose some of that artisan aspect
Yes.
to the community.
Yes.
And so when you say anti-capitalist, which is that what you said? I want to make sure.
Yeah, I said
it's
that.
not that you're against the buying and selling of, say, the art. It's that you are more for a community-oriented effort versus the city coming in and
using it to, well, basically, part of the problem is that a lot of these luxury units, I mean, they are raising the rents in our neighborhood, making it nearly impossible for artists to stay in the neighborhood anyway. So, that's.
let's play it out. Let's say you lose every fight. What would your community, what would your neighborhood look like at the end of this struggle? What are you railing against that?
So I think our biggest concern is that downtown Tempe is going to become, actually in some ways, a lot like what's happening here in Roosevelt, in the Roosevelt neighborhood. We're already getting a lot of glass towers that are coming up. Our rents are already rising. People are already being displaced from their homes. So, and we have had some wins, but the concern is that downtown Tempe will be a Whole Foods and then also a bunch of glass towers. And the other concern is that right now there's 4,000 buildings that are either in some process of being built, all of them luxury, all of them in downtown Tempe, or excuse me, not 4,000 buildings, 4,000 units.
4,000 units
Yes.
in a
Yes.
cluster of buildings.
Yeah, and all of those all of those units need to be filled. And I don't know about you, but I don't know that there's enough of a demand for 4,000,
Luxury.
luxury, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month type of unit.
Wow, and for people watching this on YouTube in Phoenix, that kind of rent is outrageous.
Yeah, like
That's really high. That may be common in some cities, but here that's
yeah, and in
pretty high.
downtown Tempe, we're right next to ASU. We're used to paying around, I would say, $400 to $600 a month per person.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
going to say, wow, I'm moving to downtown Tempe. I don't care if I'm up till 3 a.m. When the
No.
kids go to sleep, I'll go to sleep. It's cool.
Three
It's
bedrooms
worth
are
it.
not $400, but so we're used to paying about that per person. So, our rents are slowly going up, and
Well, and let me ask you then the reverse, because I kind of wanted to see what you're fighting against now. What are you fighting for? Let's say a majority of your battles are won. How does your community look in that light?
what we're fighting for.
Yeah, like I asked, if you lose glass towers everywhere, 4,000 luxury
Gotcha.
apartments needing to be filled, and the flip side of that is preservation of the way things are. Should some things develop?
I think one of the things that we're really fighting for right now is getting housing that is affordable for the people that currently live there, and allowing people to maintain their current homes. So, that's the big end goal. We would like to see more art in our community. We would like to see more of that, but we don't want that to end up being a catalyst to kick us out of our neighborhood.
Cool, I see. And Tempe is, ASU specifically is known as being a party school. But what are the unknown pockets of Tempe that would help people understand more where you're coming from? What don't people? What's the untidy secret of Tempe that you're trying to share with the world here? There seems to be a rich artisan community there. It's not just raucous ASU kids.
Oh, absolutely. There's quite a few artists there. There's quite a few activists there. There's a lot of smart people there that are doing really great, amazing things, and we want to keep it that way.
Very cool. When's the next Untidy Secrets? What's the theme? Where do you get these themes from?
So the themes are always from like song lyrics.
Okay.
And the next one is on it's Final Friday, the 24th, I believe. And it is actually being hosted by a friend of mine who's done a couple Untidy Secrets, Bradley Sutherland, because I'm going to be out of town. I'm leaving the reins to him.
Wow.
I know,
For the first time.
for the first time. Terrifying.
You
He's
come
gonna do
back and
great
it's a
job.
shambles. It's,
Yeah.
No secrets were told. Everything was very neat.
It was, yes, exactly.
This one did not go as planned.
And I'm blanking on the theme for some
I think it's
reason.
act your age, not your shoe
Act
size.
Your Age, Not Your Shoe
Which is
Size.
a popular lyric.
Yes,
I think a lot of
yes,
us remember.
from Prince, yeah.
From Prince.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
So are you just listening to songs in your car and you're like, that's the thing?
basically, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha.
It's not that deep.
And if, well, it is deep because music moves us, and you're utilizing that in a way that marries comic book imagery with spoken word and narrative. A lot of people carefully craft their stories. They
Yeah.
read them sometimes nervously from scripts because it's the first time they've spoken in front of a group of people. So you're offering that to folks as
Yeah,
well, which
I
is
love
very
that
cool.
part.
It's very cool. Anything else you'd like to share about the community, the event?
Well, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary, both the Artists of Maple Ash, Farmer Wilson, and the Untidy Secrets. So we're on Facebook, so look us up and be looking for some 1-year anniversary
Cool.
activities that are
I think paper is the gift for a 1-year anniversary, so a
perfect.
zine is,
We write so many
it
zines.
was meant to happen. Everybody put your hands together for Sarah R. Thank you for joining us.